Good evening. Welcome to Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Right here on WOSD Radio DB Chicago, WDLB Indianapolis in Chicago, and WRLN Radio. I had a brain fart there. WRLNradio.com, your home for today's R&B and throwbacks. Something like that. Peanut Butter Brother Dr. Al Greer, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Hope you had a good day at work. If you didn't, hopefully this will make it a little bit better, just a little bit. Coming up in our last hour, we have a special tribute tonight to a special group that's been in the business over 60 years. Over 60 years. Who does that? Who has a career that long, right? No, not the Isley Brothers either. Here's the Daz Band, Invitation to Love on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Who does that? Mm-hmm. Lady G. Lena Love, Kimberly Scott. Sending love from Las Vegas. Thank you very much. Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am eating. Have not eaten all day. I take that back. Um, I had for lunch. What did I have for lunch? Good Lord. Must not have been too good then. One of those frozen dinners, which wasn't too bad. And then Darlene Hill gave me half of her tuna salad sandwich from Jimmy John's. Freaky fresh, freaky fast. They should be a sponsor. Yep. And now I'm eating a chicken Philly from Baba's. Mm-hmm. Heading to the Texas Roadhouse to meet with some Chicago friends. Starving for some fish. Me too. Mm-hmm. I could go for a perch catfish combo right now. Yep, with hot sauce. Can't have fish without hot sauce. You just can't. You forgot to say Happy Mother's Day. I did. I thought I did. I'm sorry. Thought I did. My bad. Well, Happy Mother's Day to you. I thought I went down the list of all the mothers. I thought I did, but obviously I didn't. Well, Happy Mother's Day to you, Lady G. But I was just so sure that I did. But forgive me. Charge it to my head and not to my heart. Happy Mother's Day. I can't do no more hot sauce. I know that's right. Grilled, maybe some grilled salmon. That I could go for. I could definitely go for some salmon. Yep. Definitely some salmon. Oh, my fan kicked in. Or some salmon patties. Absolutely. Hmm. Definitely those. Hey, Latanya. What's going on, Miss Hollywood? Or Miss Lips, whichever you prefer. Because I prefer them both. Thank you. I prefer them both. So, I got a chance to go to well, I didn't get a chance to go to the inauguration. I worked the inauguration today. And I witnessed history. Did you know? Did you know? Did you know that, hey, Angie, what's going on, Mr. Maverick? I didn't realize until today that Brandon Johnson's wife is the first black first lady of Chicago. Did you know? Did you know? You got to think, okay, how many mayors did we have that were of color? I'll give you a while to figure it out. Harold Washington wasn't married. So Eugene Sawyer wasn't elected. He took over after Harold died. So he wasn't actually elected to office. Lori Lightfoot, of course, her first lady was what? Caucasian. So she wasn't the first lady. So there you go. Brandon Johnson's wife is the first black first lady of Chicago. How cool is that? While he's getting accolades and everything else, he's giving props to his wife. How cool is that? What's going on, Angie? So, if you didn't see the inauguration on Channel 9 or Channel 2, which is our media partners, you missed it. One of the Clark sisters was there, Karen Clark Sheard. She sang "To Dream," the Impossible Dream, and she did another. Then she did a gospel song. So, that old saying, I went to a boxing match and a hockey game broke out. I went to an inauguration and church broke out. Next thing there was what was it, Pastor? Good evening, Miss Hightower. How are you? There was a pastor sitting not far from me, Mitchell Johnson, and and of course Brandon Johnson, the mayor. Well, he was mayor elect up until like 12 o'clock today. His father is a minister. I was like, wow. So his speech lasted for about, I would say, anywhere between 25 minutes. And Greg Moore, what's going on? Ken Watlington. I mean, you could hear a pin drop while he spoke. And he spoke, and boy, did he speak. He got a standing ovation. His family got a standing ovation. Karen Clark Shear got a standing ovation. Even Lori Lightfoot today got a standing ovation. She said this is a peaceful transfer of power. I couldn't have been any more proud if I was related to them. It was a wonderful, peaceful transfer of power. You know, like I said, I was at an inauguration, and a church service broke out. I mean, Paul Jakes was there, Otis Moss III was there, Jesse Jackson was there. So it was worth it. Hey, Luana, and Luana was there too. I saw Luana getting into a lift. Said, I couldn't say anything. I was so tired, Luana. I was like, no, no. By that time, the car had pulled off. I was tired. We had to be there at 5:30 this morning to set up not to set up the equipment, but to drop it off. Yeah, to drop it off. They played us so dirty there. I gotta say, they played us dirty. All the other TV stations were allowed to set up, test the cameras, everything. We had 15 minutes to set up or less, and we did it. Sharon said, phenomenal event. I am proud of my people. Lawana said it was a gospel inauguration. Finally, a peaceful gathering. Yes, it was. There was enough cops there, boy. Yeah. The video that drove most black women nuts trying to see D'Angelo's private parts, that is called Untitled, or How Does It Feel? Every black woman was trying to look and like, come on, put the camera lower, put the camera lower. We want to see his junk. And they didn't do it. It was tastefully done. He, swirled around like a rotisserie. When you go get a gyro and the meat is turning around, that that was D'Angelo, and all the women were trying to look like, oh, okay, where's the beef? Yeah, you should see him now. You don't want none of that smoke. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Hello to Miss Hightower. Thank you for checking in. Ken Watlington, Lady G, Lawana Trailer, whom I saw earlier at the inauguration for our 57th mayor. Brandon Johnson. That was this morning at what was then called, it's the Credit One Arena now. Before that, it was the UIC Pavilion. So we're still gonna call it Pavilion. Yeah, you Credit One. No, You keep trying to change names of our landmarks, so we get confused. You mean the John Hancock Building? Yes. You mean the Sears Tower? Yes. Comiskey Park or White Sox Park. Yeah. Don't try to confuse me with these names. The Wintrust Arena. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, whatever. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Like this one from David Oliver. I want to write you a love song. Credit One. The Credit One Arena. Yeah. It was the most Afrocentric inauguration I've ever seen. Miss Hightower, it was, like I said, they started it off with African dance. They said, and now, ladies and gentlemen, singing the national anthem, there was this Hispanic lady. She sang the national anthem. And now, Walt Whitman and the Soul Children of Chicago. I was like, uh-oh, we finna go to church now. That's right, I said finna. And they took it to church. They did Lift Every Voice and Sing, Till Earth and Heaven Ring, and boy, did it ring. And anybody who was anybody was there. J.B. Pritzker was there, the governor. Jesse Jackson was there. Of course, all the aldermen and, well, alder persons were all there. It was like Ken said, the most Afrocentric inauguration I've ever been to. I mean, sorry, Uncle Lori, but it trumped yours. I mean, whew, it was phenomenal. It was great. It was fantastic. I'm running out of adjectives. It was moving. When Karen Clark Sheard got up there, she had, everybody had so many minutes to do what they had to do. You can't tell a Clark sister to sing a 3-minute song, please. That's a Clark sister. You don't give her no 3 minutes. Karen Clark Sheard tore it up. She took us to church, not church, church. Mm-hmm. She had white people waving their hands. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Credit One copied off of Capital One with their logo. Plus their crap credit card. Mm-hmm. But she said she reared back and blew them away. Yes, she did. I was like, when they said, ladies and gentlemen, Karen Clark Sheard, I'm like, what? Y'all got one of the Clark sisters to sing? Oh, man, y'all. Maybe she was a family friend or something like that because, Brandon's daddy is a minister. So I think Jesse hooked that up. Oh, this is Jesse Johnson. I'd like to speak to Karen Clark Sheard, but we need you on the 15th to come to Chicago and sing. Show them what Grammy sounds like. I know that's right. Woo, man. When I say Karen Clark Sheard took us to church, and of course, it started off by a prayer from Otis Moss III, or as I like to call him, the pretty boy preacher. who also spoke at Purvis Span's funeral. That's right, church. Hallelujah. I mean, he got up there and all the women were like, oh. You'd have thought Sam Cooke came back. Like, oh. Amen, Reverend. You married? Hey, I ain't mad at Otis Moss. If I look like that too, I guess I'd preach. But they have 3 worship services on Sunday. 3. I see why they have 3. Mm-mm. Them women can't get enough of him. Mm-mm. I think I'll come back to afternoon service. Maybe even evening service. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. But it was a wonderful gathering. It was a peaceful gathering. There was one young lady, she was, I think she was a Native American, if I'm not mistaken. Now, for those of you who know me, you know I'm, of that. Thus the hair, the Indian hair, yeah. Like, yeah, you just a ninja, that's all. Used to get that all the time. No, my great grandmother was a full blooded Cherokee Indian, so I'm just saying. But it is what it is. And she was asked to leave. You know, I was just wondering why it took them so long to get her. She started blurting out something. It was like, lady, we having an event here. No, 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 no. And then here come the cops, right? And they slowly removed her. Like, come on, lady, let's go. You are not on the program today. And whatever you have to say can wait. And that's it. I was thinking about joining Trinity Church, but I don't know if I can do 3 services. Ken said maybe I have one suggestion for the mayor to bring his own H2O to all of his functions. Stop drinking from strange open glasses of unattended beverages, please. I know what you're saying, sir. Luana said it definitely took too long to remove her. Was she a protester? Yes, she was. Dorothy Handy Taylor, happy Mother's Day again. You come in feeding your face. Yes, I do. Dorothy, there's no shame in my game. I come in eating. Yes, I do. Ain't no shame in my game. No. Now, I should have eaten earlier today, but we didn't get out of the inauguration till almost 1 o'clock. So when we got back to the station, I sat in my car, put the chair all the way back, had my blanket, courtesy of Lady G, and I put that blanket up under my head and I took a nap. I opened that sunroof let the windows down a little bit, get that breeze coming through that sunroof, and I took a nap. I woke up at, I want to say 1:45. No, 2:45, because the afternoon show starts at 3. So I got me a good old nap. What blanket? The black and white one you gave me. The tiger stripe one. Dandy Randy Crawford, I want to wrap you up in my love tonight. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Once again, wishing all the mothers a happy birthday. Lady G, Dorothy. Lawana, are you a mother? Well, happy Mother's Day anyway. If you're not, if you are, because I don't want to forget anybody. Don't want to leave anybody out. Um, Dorothy Taylor, Dorothy Handy Taylor. I'm sorry. She's the sister of our pastor. I want to say, or piggyback on what she said. She said, every day is Mother's Day. And that's absolutely right. Every day is Mother's Day. And I don't want to get too deep into it tonight because I was like trying to just make it through on Sunday. Just trying to, it was a moving day, you know. We had a little presentation at both churches for the mothers, and it was just very touching. For those of you who know me, you know I lost my mom back in 2020, so I'm still a little, yeah, still a little teary eyed when it comes to my mother because she was my best friend. She was my first roadie. She took me to parties to DJ. She carried crates of records. Some cases she carried speakers or whatever she could do to help her son. And that's what she did, and that's what she was. In every sense of the word, mother. Yes. So when I talk about my mother, I get a little choked up, I get a little teary eyed because, a little boy growing up on 47th and Champlain and 79th and Euclid, she was my ride or die. She was my first love, and there is not a day that goes by that I don't think about her. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I see that nose. I'm like, yeah, that's Maida right there. Anyway, let me not get too deep into my mama and play some music from this guy and his group. A lot of people think that Babyface started with the group The Deal. He actually started with a group called Manchild. And here's one of his first songs with Manchild. And it's called One Tender Moment. Right here on Bedtime Stories. Yes, I still have that. What you thought I was going to throw it away? Or somebody's going to take it from me? What? Let me get that blanket. Give up that blanket, bro. All done. Yep. That's right. Linus, ain't nobody getting that blanket. Ain't nobody getting that blanket. It is mine. Oh, what a nice blanket. Oh, I love your blanket. You can look at it, but don't touch. Yeah. Look, but don't touch. Taste, but don't swallow. That line comes from one of my favorite movies. Um, One with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves. What was the name of that movie, Lady G? Where Al Pacino played the devil. Yep, up until the Jay Lewis, what's going on, sir? Yep, up until the point where I started watching Lucifer on TV, Al Pacino was my favorite devil. Okay, at the end of the movie, this guy, he morphs into the devil, right? He morphs into another guy and then back into, vanity, my favorite sin, you know, and that voice of his. But anyway, back to the inauguration. I couldn't say that word at first. Devil's advocate. Learn your white movies. Thank you. Learn your white movies. Thank you, Troy. Good evening to you as well. Um, but the inauguration was wonderful. It was probably one of the best events I had gone to, besides the OJ's concert on Saturday. We're going to talk about that later too. But I mean, there was not a dry eye in the house today at the Credit One, Credit One Union Arena, whatever they call it. It's still the UIC Pavilion, which I saw. It was Salt and Pepper and R. Kelly. R. Kelly was the opening act for Salt and Pepper. Can you imagine that? Yeah, can't imagine that now, can you? Yeah, Brendan, the tabulations. Yeah, was it the Devil's Advocate? I think it was. But once again, the inauguration was wonderful. One of the it was well put together. Like I said, besides the Indian woman or Native American, I'm sorry, Indian is a derogatory. I don't know why. I'm part Indian, and it's not derogatory to me. But yeah, it was it was wonderful. Now for the bad part, we had to wait almost half an hour to get out of the parking lot. I was riding with somebody else, so and of course we had to bring all the equipment back to the station. They took one look at that speaker and they were like, "Oh no, they about to play some hip hop." You know, obviously the lady who was in charge did not know the history of WVON. It's like we don't play no music. You know, I don't know what you was expecting, but yeah. So that was it. So it was quite a morning, quite an event. I worked at the gospel station until 2 a.m. I took a little nap around 10 o'clock last night. Woke up at 2 o'clock, signed out, got home in 15 minutes, and laid back down. I laid down and uh, got up at 4 o'clock. Got to the station at 4:45. Went to the UIC Pavilion. We got there around 5:45, I think it was. We had to check all the equipment, make sure there were no weapons. Yeah, right. So, all in all, history. I was a part of history once again. First with Harold Washington being the first black mayor of the city of Chicago. Lori Lightfoot being the first LTBB, LB, LBJTQ, LMNOP person and of color. And then now Brandon Johnson. Not to take anything away from Eugene Sawyer, but he was not actually elected. He took office after Harold passed, and that was it. But he was not elected. So, but excuse me. Um, Congratulations to the 57th mayor of the city of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. Johnson. It don't get no better than that. You got a mayor named Johnson. So that's a black name right there, Johnson. He said in his speech, he said, I didn't realize I had so many cousins until I started running for mayor. Now, that was going to happen. Especially in you on the west side. They was going to come up to you. What's up, cuz? My name's Johnson, too. Like, no, ninja, no. So, and I didn't know that he used to do a show on WVON when he was a member of Chicago Teachers Union. He was part of that as well. So, and he used to do a show on WVON. My boss Titus was telling me. I'm like, wow. He said, yeah, I got the mayor's personal phone number. It's like, there you go. He said, do I have to call you Mr. Mayor now? He said, no, I'm still Brandon, man. I'm still Brandon. And in the middle of his speech, he just paused. He said, excuse me, I'm just trying to take all this in right now. I was like, yeah, you think? You think? That was, I mean, we want to be, we want to be, and I hate to use the word stars, but we want to be popular. We want to do this. We want to do that, and when we follow our dreams and then we achieve them, that's heavy. That's really heavy. So I could only imagine what was going through his head when he was taking the oath as the 57th mayor of Chicago. I can only imagine. Two in a row from Man Child, featuring Babyface back in the day. That is especially for you. Came out when I was in high school, back in the day. Way back in the day. Your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. We were talking about the inauguration today of Brandon Johnson, 57th mayor of the city of Chicago, the only the third mayor Only the third black mayor we've had. Now, once again, I'm not downing Eugene Sawyer, who was the mayor after Harold Washington made his transition, but he's the third elected mayor of color. Harold Washington, Lori Lightfoot, and now Brandon Johnson. Congratulations, man. In the middle of his speech, he just paused. And I guess he looked at this sea of people. And I know what was running through his mind. He's like, damn, I'm the mayor. This just don't happen to anybody, you know. He's like, and he said, I'm just taking this all in. I said, I could imagine, brother. I could only imagine. We heard from Man Child with Babyface, and this time Babyface with the deal. This is 2 occasions on Bedtime Stories. Congratulations to our mayor, 57th mayor of the city of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. What'd you say, Lady Drew? Now, you know, brothers are going to be telling the ladies to talk to Mayor Johnson. Ooh, you nasty. You nasty. Come over there and give you the glove. You nasty. Ooh. Talk to Mayor Johnson. Or Mayor McCheese, whichever you prefer. Oh, no. Would you say, Lawana, he was having a God moment? Mm-hmm. And like you said, Ken, you better bring his own water. You know, that's how they got, that's how they got Harold. But it was different with Harold. Harold was becoming too powerful, and they knew it, and they had to stop him. You know, especially after Harold got elected for another term. You want Harold? Here's Harold. So, after his second term as mayor, they were like, oh, we got to stop him. Yeah, this ninja's a little too, yeah. So, but he was getting things done, and he was known as the people's mayor. And I'm hoping that is going to be the same with Brandon Johnson. I hope he's the people's mayor and not just the black folks mayor, not just the mayor of the north side, not just the mayor who lives on the west side. So that's about it. He's a young brother with a family, and he got elected fair and square. Now I gotta be honest, guys. I'm surprised Brandon didn't say here's Brandon. Yeah, but I at first I didn't vote for him. I just didn't. I didn't. I didn't think he had a chance, and I wasted my vote on Willie Wilson, thinking that he may have had a chance. But you got to think, could we have sat through a 20-minute speech from Willie Wilson? I'm just saying. I'm not throwing any shade at Dr. Wilson. I'm just saying. Would we have been able to listen to Willie Wilson for like 15, 20 minutes? And the answer is no. And going back to the program, they started off with African dance, Walt Whitman and the Soul Children. They had a rabbi, a Baptist preacher, that is, and a Muslim preacher. Well, they don't call them preachers, but you know what I'm saying. So That you're right, the Machine, Fast Eddie, and all those guys. Yeah. What you say, Miss Hightower? Yeah, I'm just, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. They had people from all walks of life. All kinds of preachers or people who represented their faith, and I was like, this is really touching. It's really touching. And once again, we went to an inauguration, and a church service broke out. But it was beautiful. It was wonderful. All of my most of my co-workers were there, and it was history being made. I think maybe some of them realized it was history, and others were like, I got out of bed for this. But it was truly an interesting day, and I'm just glad I was a part of it. You know, one of my coworkers said, "Why are you so mean, Unc?" I said, "I'm not. I'm just, it's just my stone face look. Like, don't talk to me. Don't ask me nothing. I'm not in charge. That's the program director over there." And that was the attitude that I took. You know, I'm cracking you up, Miss Hightower. Don't laugh too hard. You don't want your back to be hurt. Since you don't want me to come over there and give you a massage. Yeah, that's sure you want just a massage me. That's what y'all say all the time. It's just a massage. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Elo said I watched it. It was something. It was something in a good way, and it was. It was something in a good way, in a great way. It was like this morning. It was chilly outside and dark, and it was like the sun came out for Brandon Johnson. I mean, that may sound corny or whatever, but yeah, it even warmed up for a while, you know. But when he came out, when they said Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson, he came out there with his wife and his kids. I'm sorry, his children. We don't say kids. Kids are goats. So he came out there, and the the audience just went nuts. It was like being at a wrestling match. It was just, "Ah!" I wish I could have been there. Maybe there's a YouTube video of it. Yes, it's on YouTube. You can watch it. Like I said, all of the channels were out there: 2579 and Telemundo. Yeah, everybody was there, and it was history being made. You know, and the arena was packed. I don't know if they charged to get in or what. Two in a row from the deal. Once again, featuring Babyface right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Still talking about today's inauguration of the 57th mayor of the city of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. He came out there with his family, and you would have thought you were at a wrestling match or a baseball game or something. When they announced some of the aldermen, some of them came with, applause, thundering applause, and some of them came with boo, boo. I was like, wow. Tell them how you really feel. I'm like, well, we elect these people into office. So if you're booing them, you're actually booing yourself because you didn't vote for, or the person that you thought was going to win didn't win. So don't get mad. Next time, get out there and vote. It's just that simple. It's your right to vote and not to let the other guy get in there. So you won't have to boo him at the inauguration, okay? From the album You Are My Starship, produced by Norman Connors, here is the late great Phyllis Linda Hyman Greer on Bedtime Stories. This is Bet Your By Golly Wow. First ever black first lady. Yep. There was a choir that sang before Walt Whitman. Yeah, and I don't know who the choir was. Who was the choir, Lawana? But yeah, there was a choir. Oh, they had a whole orchestra with strings even. I mean, it was just, you know, there is no other way to explain it, but it was an extravaganza. It was, it was wonderful. It was stupendous, stupendous. And once again, I'm so glad that I was a part of that history. I wasn't there when Harold Washington got inaugurated. I wasn't there. Um, should have been, but I wasn't. I helped on his campaign only because, and I can tell you guys this, I was chasing after this young lady. And she said, "Yeah, I'm on the team to get Harold Washington voted." And I was like, "Ain't gonna be no black mayor. What are you talking about? You kind of cute though. Okay, I'll follow you." And I did, and he won. Did I end up with the girl? No. We became good friends, and she passed a few years ago. It just broke my heart. She was just, ooh, good Lord. And that was it. And he won. There were people there that there were people saying that Harold Washington was not going to get elected because he was black. They said that LaSalle wasn't ready for a black man, and that came out of the mouth of one of my dad's closest friends. And it was like, "Sir, you don't know what you're talking about. If he has a small chance, he could take it." But what they did was, this is how Harold won. And if you don't remember, I'll tell you. Harold won because they sent absentee ballots down, to Southern. So all those people who were away at school who wanted to vote in the election could. That put Harold at an advantage because they got out the vote for real. So a lot of people sent their ballots in from Southern because they really wanted you know there to be a black mayor at home, and it happened. And I was like, wow, that is just great. We finally pulled it together, only for them to get rid of them. So many blacks have such low expectations of others' progress. Yes, they do. Um, yeah, they absolutely do. But once again, Lawana, what was the name of the choir? Because there was a choir, there was an orchestra. I mean, with strings and everything. It was like they spared no expense for this inauguration. I mean, it was church and then some. Karen Clark Shearer, she came out there and she blew them away. She took them to church. She took everybody to church. Like I said, white folks was testifying. You know, praise Jesus. They were. I mean, there was not a dry eye in the house. It was wonderful. It was. I'm just glad that I was a part of history once again. And of course, we're going to talk about something else tonight. And but on a similar situation or subject, something that Lawana said. Many blacks have such low expectations of others' progress. We like to call them player haters. That's what we like to call them. Once again, from the album "You Are My Starship" by Captain Norman Connors. Betcha by Kali Wow. With Phyllis Hyman right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Once again, congratulating the 57th mayor of the city of Chicago, Mr. Brandon Johnson. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. And he still lives on the west side in the Austin community. And he gets up in the morning and takes his daughter to Kenwood. Now, that's a dad right there. Anyway, Bedtime Stories is sponsored by our good friends over at Grubhub. Mhm. Dub, 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 Grubhub is a proud sponsor of Bedtime Stories here on WOSD Radio, DB Chicago, and AG Entertainment Station. That's me. Also, BiggsRadio.com, WDLB, Indianapolis and Chicago, and of course, WRLN Radio.com, a Ray Neal media station. Everybody got their name in there. I just have my initials. But see, everybody calls me AG anyway, so that's my name. Don't wear it out. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed, but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Once again, hello to Miss Hightower, also to Lawana and Lady G. Thanks for being on my live this evening here on Bedtime Stories, as well as Facebook, Twitch, and what else am I on? Oh, yeah, and YouTube. Appreciate you guys, all right? Make sure you share the wealth. If you're on Facebook right now, where it says like, comment, and share, just hit share. Yeah, go ahead, do it right now. I'll wait. This is the first of two in a row from Confunction. Let me put love on your mind and throw in the massage as well. The peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories. Who's wearing out? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you saying? Do, 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 do. Well, well, wow. To try to find Tommy Williams. Tommy, put love on your mind. Dorothy Handy Taylor, Elaine Kim Cox, Jay Lewis, Ned Robinson, Ken Wadlington, Maverick Atkins. Thank you so much, guys. You must have dozed off. What? I was like, I was wondering what you're talking about. Wake up, Lady G. Wake up, little Susie. Wake up. Wake up. Who sang Sign Your Name Across My Heart? That was Terrence Trent D'Arby. Yeah. Who changed his name to an unpronounceable symbol. No, that's Prince. I'm sorry. Terrence Trent. Put love on your mind. And I will play that for you. Yeah. Put love on your mind. Let me put love on your mind, if you don't mind. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Iron Maiden coming up. Iron Maiden. I don't think so. I should sleep well tonight. Not good, but well. I should sleep well tonight. You know, I slept sporadically today. You know, so I had to stay in um, engineer for the afternoon show. Didn't want to miss that. Plus, you know, that's money. I missed a few days at work, so I need to make that money up. I'm just saying. You know. Plus, this is the week I get paid for both jobs. Ooh, I won't know what to do with myself. And I got a gig Saturday. Ooh, I can pay rent again this month. Hey, ooh. Speaking of which, moving right along to another subject. I don't know if I can share this information with you. My my landlord lady, she is what is she doing? Here we go. She is a wellness coach with the Shaky Corporation. Um, some healthy vitamins. You can do it on my site, or you can call me and I will help you with your order. Shaky. Has anyone ever tried that? Shaky. Make sure you look at the Ready Wellness Set bundle, valued at $249, now only $169. Shaky. I will check that out. Her name is Vonnie Matthews. That's spelled with Vyonne Matthews. Shaky. What did I say? Shakely? Shaky. Yeah. She's an independent distributor of Shaky. And once again, it's Vyonnie Matthews. Shaky. What'd you say? Shaky my what? Yes. So I'm gonna check her out. See what Shaky is all about. I've heard the name before, but it's a long time ago. Shaky. You know, 'cause what was that other one? Amway. Somebody was selling some Amway or something. Yeah, that was a long time ago too. Was it Amway or something? I don't know. They make you go to these big rallies and stuff, and people talk about how much money they made selling products that you can't buy in the store, that you can buy in the store. It's like toothpaste. Like, okay, but if you go to Amway or whatever it was, you could get the same stuff, but you know, anyway, wasn't too interested in that. I'm like, no. You can go to the dollar store and get what, two tubes of toothpaste for like $4 or less. So, nah. They got their own deodorant and stuff. I'm like, once again, you go to the dollar store and get deodorant. Yeah. So, wasn't feeling that. My mom's used to sell Shaky products for some years. They had vitamins and some home products. Yeah. Shaky. I'm gonna check her out too. I'm gonna post it on my website. Well, not my website, but my Facebook page. I'm gonna help her out. Maybe they'll go down on my rent. Nah, nah, they won't. No. Always was pre-dollar and Amazon, or pre-dollar store and Amazon. Right? How is it spelled? Shaky. Shake Lee. SHAKLEE. Shake Lee. Not shaky, but Shake Lee. What did I say? Shaky? Shake Lee. I've been up all day, Lady G. I'm sorry. Shake Lee is what it's called. Not shaky, but Shake Lee. Amway, yeah. Dum-ba-dum, dum-ba-dum, ding, 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 ding. From the album Spirit of Love, that of course can function and by your side right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Thank you so much for being here or being wherever you are, because you could have been anywhere else, but you're here with me. And I appreciate you guys. This is Bedtime Stories, a show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed, but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Last week, our website went down, but people were still listening via the apps, but it didn't show up when we did the ratings. So, once again, go to our website at WOSD Radio, WOSDradio.com, and share it with your friends. I'm going to have to post it on my Facebook page, my Instagram page, and everything else, and get those numbers back up. Man, we were doing so well, and then all of a sudden the website went down. I had to spend a grip to get it back up. Yeah. So it kind of took a little chunk out of my paycheck, but it was worth it. It was really worth it because we have other shows uh, on our station, and people depend on the websites. They're not down with the apps. What is it? Radio.net, Radio USA. Yeah, they're not down with the apps. They'd rather go to the website and listen to us, and that's cool. Because some people are just not internet savvy. So when you tell them it's on the internet, they stay there. They don't go anywhere else. App? What's the app, baby? I don't know what that is. Anyway, they're getting internet savvy. Hopefully, eventually they will. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer, with choice 4. When you're young and in love. Jamie Foxx is here in Chicago for rehab over at Shirley Ryan's. Really? Hmm. What happened to your site? Were you hacked? I believe we were. It was a free, um, it was a free site. So, I wouldn't be surprised you know, if that's what happened. It happens, especially if a station is doing a little too well, you know, you got some haters out there that have their stations as well, and that, trying to take ratings away, or, we might have a very popular show on the station, and then that person said, I need to get that guy over at my station, and, so they kind of sabotage, you know, because people won't go to them willingly. And that happens, it happens. Uh, so Shirley Ryan is one of the best in the country. And they're still not saying, Miss Hightower, they're still not saying what happened to Jamie Foxx. Rehab, what is he rehabbing from? What happened? And nobody is saying anything. And people are speculating. They were printing, Fox's family is getting ready for the worst or preparing for the worst. And his daughter posted the other day that they were playing wiffle ball or something like that. Like, okay. So he's okay. Other people were, they were doing the Bernie Mac theory that he was already dead. And they were just, waiting for the right time to, to say it. And Cat Williams had this whole video. Somebody interviewed him. They were saying, the Illuminati, when don't do what they ask you to do after you've become so famous and so popular, they try to, get rid of you, you know. And they brought up Prince and Michael Jackson and all that stuff. It's like, we'll put you up there, but there's a price that you have to pay. And, I'm sure it exists, but my thing is always, you do hard work and people appreciate it. People recognize you for hard work. I don't know anything about Illuminati. I don't. They say that Beyonce and Jay-Z are part of the Illuminati. Uh, Also, Will and Jada are part of that. I don't know anything about it. And that's it. I don't doubt that it exists, but don't want to know anything about it. I'm straight. Anyway, it is the best in the country. Oh, Shirley Ryan. Yeah, I have to look up Shirley Ryan. Why? Once again, what happened where he had to go to rehab, and they're not saying anything. They're being very tight-lipped about it. Preston Shanks. Diddy is the main gatekeeper of the Illuminati. Okay. Once again, I know nothing of that. So I don't doubt that it exists. I got to get that CD to you. Okay, Glenn. Well, I get off at 6, so I don't get home till like 6:30, quarter to 7. So, maybe we can meet up tomorrow, and you can give me that CD from Paulette McWilliams' daughter. Correct? I'd love to hear it. I hear the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, which is a good thing. But I had said in 2 more weeks we're going to talk to Paulette. I said that last week, so I'd like to bring her back on and finish the story because she basically went through um, everything that I may have wanted to ask her, but I wanted to ask her more in depth about Quincy Jones and why, or if she felt like she was left behind because she was the original lead singer of Rufus, and then Shaka being her friend, um, moved in, but she recommended Shaka as her replacement in the group because she no longer wanted to tour. But when the group blew up, it was like, didn't you feel a certain way when the group blew up with Shaka in it? Um, Shaka had that charisma and that fire, and and those big wigs and stuff. So, what did how did that make you feel? That's what I want to ask her. Were you happy for Shaka in the group, or were you like, well, now they blow up? Oh man, I should have stayed in the group. That kind of thing. But they said, or she said, she stepped down so that she could, raise a family, so she could be a mother. Well, Shaka Hamalani. So I'm just saying. Yeah. The country's absolute best rehab facility. It's very hard to get admitted there. Jesse Jackson was there, and my brother-in-law got admitted also. But once again, I ask, what did Jamie have where he needs to go to rehab? You know, um, when he fell ill, was there a lack of oxygen to his brain? Because did he have a stroke? What? Sweet Anita Baker and Sweet Love on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. We're still talking about, well, we're not talking about Brandon Johnson anymore. I think I've beat that one to death right there. But now we're talking about Jamie Foxx. Now, We've been following this story since day one. He said he was in the hospital for more than a month. Actually, they said that he was out of the hospital and that he's in rehab. But the question is, what is he in rehab for? What was he in the hospital for? And we still don't know. Miss Hightower says, my mom was there twice. They actually found bleeding on her brain that Northwestern missed. Okay. Um, once again, what did Jamie have that he needs rehab? And they're very tight-lipped about it. And I understand, he's a very private person. He's always seen with his daughter and not with other women. So, okay, keeps his, you know, um, he keeps his love life on the down low, I guess. Another person is like that, and that's Arsenio Hall. Arsenio dropped out of the business to raise his son. We don't know who the son is by. He never talks about the baby mama or anything like that. So anyway, but back to Jamie Foxx. What is he in rehab for? That's what I want to know. Hello to Phyllis Malloy Bender. Once again, thank you, Phyllis. You excuse my language, but you did the damn thing once again. Thank you so much for the picture. I really appreciate it. How was church service? The church service, are you talking about the inauguration or the actual church service on Sundays that I attended? Because I went to two different churches on Sunday. Church was good on Sunday. I got to admit. The second service more than the first one, because the first service, I had to kind of excuse myself from service. I got a phone call that I had to take. But the second service, of course, they were talking about, it was Mother's Day and all the ladies of the church kind of took over. And it was very, it was very good, very well done. And, they tried to get me involved in it. I'm like, no, I'm good. Anyway, but both were good. Thank you so much. Your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories. Hello to Preston Shanks, just joining us on Facebook Live as well. You're the Shawlights and Marriage License on Bedtime Stories. Northwestern. Did y'all seek litigation for their mistake? Those celebrities like to party. Who knows? Speculators are saying that he had a stroke, but it's still unclear. And that's just it. It's still unclear as to what happened to Jamie. What happened? Why aren't they talking? Probably because it's none of our business. I get that. But I'm just saying, it would be nice to know. None of our business. Northwestern, I just read that. I'm sorry. But back to church service, Phyllis, it was wonderful. Like I said, the second one, they gave out carnations to all of the mothers. Red if she's still alive, and white, of course, if she has passed on to glory. And of course, my mom has gone on to glory, and she has been since 2020. So, yep, since 2020. And no, she didn't die of COVID. No, she didn't. It's a matter of my mistake. It was University of Chicago that actually misdiagnosed her. Northwestern actually performed two successful brain surgeries on my mom. Two. Oh wow. University of Chicago. Interesting. My boss just sent out a at 10:20 at night, 10:28 at night. So Melody Span Cooper was giving us kudos for the inauguration coverage, and she mentioned me by name, which she never does, saying that my ability to multitask. Like I get that honest. I get that from Richard McGee. So I get it honest. Multitasking is basically in my blood, you know, and it's something that Richard told me a long time ago. He said you have to make yourself uh, indisposable. You have to learn everything there is to know about the business, the ins and outs of the business. You have to learn everything about the business. It makes it more difficult to fire you if you're doing everything at the business or in the business. You know, I'm on the air, I'm running the board, I'm doing production, I'm the voice of the station, the engineer of the station. If something goes down, if they can't get a hold of the engineers right away, I can go in there and fix it. That's, you know, just something I learned from being young in the business. All right, let me turn that down because that's one of those CBS records. Sony. They're cutting me off. That is, they won't cut me, but they're cutting me off. But anyway, yeah. We had a Mother's Day dinner here yesterday, and like you, I had an emotional moment when James Ballard played Sadie. I I had an emotional um moment. I was watching, of all movies, I was watching Cocaine Bear, and this little girl went missing, and her mother was trying to find her, right? And this bear was chugging down cocaine, which made the bear erratic because that's what cocaine does to you. This is your brain. If the bear had been smoking weed, it would have been different. So that was it. And there was one point in the movie where one of the characters, played by Ray Liotta, said, "Lady, who are you?" She said, "I'm a mother." And I lost it. I was like, "Mama, mama." I had one of those moments. the snotting and everything, but it wasn't that bad. I'm just exaggerating for, dramatic purposes. But, I was like, yo, my mama killed that bear over me. Cocaine or not, she'd kill that bear. Anyway, that movie was funny. You never heard of Cocaine Bear? They ran the trailer for it, and of course, before they could get the movie out, Ray Liotta made his transition. He was he was a drug dealer, and he wanted his cocaine because if he didn't come back with the cocaine, the guys were gonna kill him. Well, he ended up dying anyway because the bears got to him. You know, he opened one of them bricks of cocaine and started shaking it, and it got on him. And the bears smelled the cocaine on him, and the little baby bears, they got high too. So it was like, yeah. But it was called Cocaine Bear, based on true events. Really? Excuse me. Miss Hightower said it was a silly movie. It was, and of course they give a description of the movie before you watch it, violence, gore, you know, people's legs getting bit off and stuff. And like, oh, okay. Instead of Build a Bear, we had Coca Bear. Yeah, yeah. But the name of the bear, the name of the movie was called Cocaine Bear, and the bear was just coked up, and it was a female bear too, and she had two bear cubs, and they got high too. It was a nice family movie. Yeah, right. Miss Hightower said that movie was funny. Sign your name across my heart. At that time, he was known as Terrence Trent D'Arby. That's Sign Your Name for Miss Hightower, right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. As always, thank you so much for joining us. You could be anywhere else, but you're here with me, trapped, captive. Not really. You could leave anytime you want to, but thank you so much for being on my Facebook Live, as well as, let's see, how many people do I have watching me on Twitch? One. Okay. All right. That's cool. All right. Lady G, we were talking about Cocaine Bear. Instead of Build a Bear, we had Coca Bear. I guess that was Smokey Yogi and Boo Boo drugged up lost sister. Yeah, that's what it was. It was. If you haven't seen Cocaine Bear, I don't want to ruin it for you. I mean, the name alone, kind of, if you saw the trailer for it, you'd be like, did, did this really happen? And it actually really happened. Somebody parachuted and lost several kilos of cocaine, and the bear was, yeah, swallowing the bricks cocaine whole. Yeah, it wasn't definitely not a family movie, but unless you're the Manson family or Ozzy Osbourne's family, I'm just saying. And it was Ray Liotta's last movie as a drug dealer. Yeah. Oh well, he got his brains ate in the other movie, right? Here's Davis Eli Ruffin, Walk Away from Love on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. She was higher than the average bear. Hey, boo boo, got some more of that cocaine?
No more for you, Yogi.
Cocaine bear.
Hey Yogi, what did you do with all the cocaine?
I snorted it up, boo boo. Mr. Rogers was the supplier. Ah,
No more for you, Yogi.
F you, Ranger. I need some more cocaine. Oh, at one time they tried to bring Yogi back. It was like a kind of, how can I put it? It was like Yogi was like on the edge and stuff, as was the Flintstones. Fred was like, oh boy, woo, crazy. Mr. Ranger was the supplier. Mm-mm. This is some good stuff. Mm-mm. I should sleep good tonight. What, Yogi 2000? Yeah. Yogi. Luckily, Pooh Bear stuck to his honey. I know, right? Winnie the Pooh. Cuddly, what a cuddly little. Yeah. Yeah, Winnie stuck to the honey. Y'all just make me act silly. I don't know. No, you're silly all by yourself, Al. You don't need any help. Mm-mm. Have you laughing so hard you'll pee on yourself. Stop it, Al. Stop it. You're gonna see what you did. See. Now go wipe your face. Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh. Mm-mm. Yee. Hey, boo boo, look what I found in this picnic basket. Boo boo, share and share alike.
Okay, Yogi, I guess.
Cartoon characters gone wrong.
Ping, ping, ping. Ricochet Rabbit.
You know, Ricochet was on cocaine and Droopalon was smoking weed. Okay, Mr. Ricochet. The same way with Tennessee Tuxedo and Chumley. Chumley was, smoking that good stuff.
Tennessee Tuxedo will not fail. Right, Chumley?
No, you're Tennessee. I know, entertaining, aren't I? Yes. I'm even more entertaining when I've had no sleep. What you said? Victor, what's going on, Vic? Hanna-Barbera cartoon bloopers, yeah. AG, that's some good weed you're smoking. No, I'm just tired. I've been up all day. We had to be at the inauguration at 5:30 this morning. I got off work last night at 2, took a little nap before then, and then I had to be at the UIC, formerly known as the UIC Pavilion. So that's what happened. So if I seem a little loopy, it's not because I've had any weed yet. You know, I do the best cartoon voices. You do? Let's hear one. No, I'm just kidding. Good job. I heard it on WVON. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Um, that's what that email was about. Me multitasking. I'm like, that's what I do all the time. That's what I do. You know, turn around and do a show, turn around and engineer a show and produce it. You know, once again, that Richard Pegee set me up for success. Not money, but success. Yeah. Yeah, I must have missed it that day when he was talking about the money part. But I got to tell you about Richard. Richard kept a roll of money in baby jars. You know, the baby food jars. He kept money rolled up in it. He had them all over the house. I'm like, okay. I remember one time I got a curses spoiled again, uh, foiled again, whichever. I remember one time my car got booted. I was at Richard's house, and I looked outside. There was a big uh, yellow boot on my car. At that time, I was driving a Ford Tempo, black, gray interior. I don't remember that car. And he said, I said, oh, Lord, I got a boot. He said, find out how much it is. It was $330. I still remember. He went to one of those baby food jars and he pulled out $330 and gave it to me. And I went and paid it, and they took the boot off. And that was it. Yep. He said, now you owe me. So I had to do free commercials for him for however many times I had to do them. $330 worth of commercials. So, yep. Curses foiled again. But yeah, Richard didn't tell me how to make the money. He told me how to stay at a radio station, but he didn't tell me, I'm surprised he didn't buy a station too. Like like Purvis Spain and Wesley South bought the station. So I don't know. But yeah, it was well worth it, Vic. It was well worth it. Sleep Vic. Mm-mm-mm-mm. For Dee Dee, DeBarge, and a Dream, right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. One of the few songs that Bunny sang lead on, Bunny DeBarge. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories. Good night to Miss Hightower. Hope your back feels better. You know, like I said, I give great massages. Hint, 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 hint. I'm wearing you down, Mama. I'm wearing you down. Anyway, she's like, I don't want you putting your grubby paws on me. What movie is that from? See, I'm a little loopy because I haven't had any sleep. So I'm channeling Charlton Heston right now. Get your get your grubby paws off me, you ape. Coming up in about 13 minutes, I will fall asleep. Nope, it will be time for foreplay right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Once again, good night to Miss Hightower. And Preston said, waiting to exhale. That is not from waiting to exhale. Get your grubby paws off of me. It's from Planet of the Apes, I think. That's probably not even the line either. Anyway, coming up in 13 minutes, I just said that. Foreplay. Right now, here's the SOS Band on Bedtime Stories. Blue lights in the basement on Instagram Saturdays. Yep. Bunny DeBarge. Yep. She was probably the only one in the family who didn't do cocaine, which would have made her Cocaine Bunny. No? Okay. No Cocaine Bunny? No. Okay. Cocaine. Cocaine Rabbit. Who framed Cocaine Rabbit? Well, I don't know. AG, you need some sleep. Yes, I do. My eyes are burning. And it burns, 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 that ring of fire, that ring of fire. Yes, sir, my eyes are burning right now. And it all started, at work. At first I thought, I was tearing up over we were talking about the OJs earlier at work. And I thought, you know, make sure you get some sleep. Phyllis, you don't have to tell me twice. At 12:05, I will be in the bed. 12:05, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I will be in the bed. Okay? By myself, as usual. What SOS band are you playing? I'm playing Tell Me If You Still Care. Boom, 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 boom. Tell me if you still care. That was an underrated band. Preston, I hate to burst your bubble about the band, but um, after Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis took over, they no longer played their own instruments. They would come to the studio, the tracks would already be done by Terry and Jimmy, and they would just sing to them because Terry and Jimmy couldn't sing. So the albums were already done. All they had to do was just come in and put their vocals on it. If you notice, the first songs that they did, Take Your Time, Do It Right, that was them playing on there, you know. But all the songs after that, Even When You're Asleep, dun, 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 boom, boom, boom. Of course, that was all Jimmy and Terry on there. So there was no SOS band after a certain period of time. Even in concert, when they did Tell Me If You Still Care, um, they used the original track because it's hard to duplicate that drum machine. So at the that was their signature song. So at the end of the concert, the sound man would just hit the track and they would sing to it, and they would just keep singing and just let the track fade out. So sorry to burst your bubble. I'm sorry. But you're right. They're still an underrated band. And, I don't, and it's bands like that. I wonder what happened. How come they didn't get further than what they were? And a lot of times it's due to either poor promotion or they just get sick of being, I guess, mediocre, not having gold and platinum hits back to back. Take Your Time, Do It Right was a gold album. Tell what was it? And some of the albums after that were produced by Terry and Jimmy, you know, but they weren't like a super group like a Earth, Wind and Fire. They were never, a top draw. In other words, they were never the headliners of any concert. So, unfortunately, but I really think that they could have gone further. I really do. But once again, unfortunately, they weren't. Not that they weren't good enough. Um, Lack of promotion. You know, they were on the Taboo label, which was run by Clarence Avant, and unfortunately, they didn't have a big promotion team behind them to push them. And at the end of the day, Terry and Jimmy took over their production, and when they took over their production, they took over their production. If you listen to SOS Band, Sherelle, and Alexander O'Neill, they all sound exactly alike. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. You know, Encore by Cheryl Lynn, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. That mechanical drum machine that they had. What was it? The T something, whatever it was. But all their songs were made off of this one drum machine. So everything sounded alike. The Roland, whatever it was. So anyway. Weekend Girl. Yeah, that's my jam too. Lady G. Yeah. But once again, if you listen to their albums back to back, it's like you listen to two people, just other people singing. Perfect example. Remember the Human League? Remember the song Human? That was produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And if you listen to it, it's just got that robotic, just yeah, got that beat. If you speed it up, you got even when you're asleep. I'm just saying. If you listen to that, it's the same song or the same beat, same whatever. They made it the same day or something like that. But not to take anything away from their creativity, but they developed a sound, and that sound was their signature. Janet Jackson, same thing. Um, Control, same drum machine. That Roland TR-808. That's the one. And Jimmy's signature was that wow. That was in every song. If you listen to, Tell Me If You Still Care, it comes in the middle of the song. Tell me, baby, tell me. Wow. Why are we apart? That's their signature. Wow. What the hell is that? Don't worry about it. Wow. Yep. Formula songs that anyone could sing like Motown. Exactly. Exactly. They were like the Motown of the 90s. You had Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and then you had LA and Babyface. Same thing. Um, all the Bobby Brown stuff, Boys to Men, they all had that same sound. Uh, Can We Talk by Tevin Campbell, LA and Babyface. The Formula. I just had to throw that one in. D'Angelo and Questlove. Tell Me If You Still Care. Before that, the original from the SOS Band. Tell Me If You Still Care. Right on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. It is almost that time, but before we do that, Momo. Grubhub is a proud sponsor of Bedtime Stories right here on WOSD Radio DB Chicago, your home for old school and dusties, an AG entertainment company, radio station, and stuff, as well as WDLB Indianapolis and Chicago, BiggsRadio.com, and of course, WRLNRadio.com, a radio media station. It is your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. And I must say, I saw one of the best concerts that I have seen in a while. And Atiba and I talked about it earlier on WVON this afternoon. And people had different opinions about it. They said, Eddie Levert needs to go somewhere and sit down. Well, guess what? He was sitting down. It's when he stood up is when they lost their minds. I mean, the man is 80 years old. He's had some health issues, but you got to understand the OJs have been in existence for well over 60 years, way before I was even thought of. Okay. One of their first hits was produced or written, I should say, by Van McCoy. Yes, Van McCoy of The Hustle. They started out in Canton, Ohio. They had the team of Frankie Crocker and Eddie OJ. They took their name from Cleveland radio personality Eddie OJ, and they became the OJs. For over 60 years, they've been performing everywhere, wowing audiences all over the world. And tonight, it is my pleasure in foreplay to salute the OJs. This was the last leg of their tour, or as they say, the last stop on the love train. I don't think they're through. I think they're just tired. Maybe not even that. They just need to take a break after 60 years of performing, touring, and recording. They just need a break. But anyway, tonight we feature in foreplay. We're going to play four, then four more of the OJs. We're going to kick it off with this one from 1965. Break down and let it all out. I went Saturday night, and people were complaining. What's wrong with him? What's really going on? It's like, excuse me, he's 80 years old. He's 80. If he doesn't sound like he did back in 72, neither do you. Sorry. That's just like a few years ago. It was a George Benson concert over in London. And they said, "Oh my God, he just sounds dreadful." He's what, 70 years old? And if you go to a George Benson concert to hear him sing, excuse my language, but piss on you. He's a much better guitarist than he is a vocalist. I'm just saying. If you're going to a George Benson concert to hear him sing, forget about it. Are you mad? Like, please, don't go to a George Benson concert and expect him to just sing. Are we really happy? No, 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 no. You'll be sadly disappointed. You'll only be happy to know that he can still play the guitar like he did when he was 18 years old, when he played with Brother Jack McDuff. That he's still the master of. But don't go thinking he gonna sound like he did back then. This Yeah. Thank you. You have to give the older artists grace. You have to. Yes. God bless Eddie Levert. But when he stood up, and I don't know if he stood up on Friday, Phyllis, but I know he stood up on Saturday. When he stood up, and they were like, Eddie! Like, yeah, fight the power, brother. Fight it. I don't care what nobody says. He killed it. Not killed it. He killed it. He did the damn thing. Walter and Eric Nolan Grant, they were good too, you know. But Walter doesn't have the same health issues as Eddie, and they're only a year apart. You know, one is 80 and the other is 79. Eddie's birthday will be in June. He'll be 81, and um, Walter will be Walter will be 80 in August. So if you expect the OJs from 1972, you know, with the big dog ear collar shirts and the stacks, doing the steps to backstabbers, forget about it. They have nothing to prove to you all or to me either, but they have nothing to prove. The only thing they have to prove to is the fact that they've been performing and recording for over 60 years. And they sold out 2 shows. They ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. So what? Eddie, was having some throat problems. Eddie couldn't stand up and do the steps. Eddie sounded as soulful as he did, even with a cracking voice. Sherry Yvette Withersbanks. Yeah. Gladys was good, but she's older and a little slower. Once again, aren't we all? You know, aren't we all? And it happens. When you perform for over 60 years. I mean, look at Gladys. She started out as a kid performing. What do you expect? They supposed to still be, moonwalking like Michael Jackson. And no, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Back to George Benson. It ain't gonna happen. You know, we have our memories of these artists. On Soul Train. As a matter of fact, they showed, a clip from them on Soul Train doing Love Train, which I thought was very apropos. And it just, it got to me. It's like, and Eddie got up and he walked off stage. He walked off stage. Okay. At one point he stood up, and it was when he did Wildflower, which is like his signature song all by himself. There's a 9-minute version of Wildflower that is just beautiful. It's a live version, but you got to understand, they don't have to. Eddie lives in Vegas with his wife and his daughter. He doesn't need the money. It's okay. It's great money, He don't need it. And these performers, they do it They do it for the fans. They don't do it. It's not an ego thing. It is definitely not an ego thing. And Walter Williams is still as good as he ever was. But Eddie was the draw, you know, with that. His hair wasn't gray, it was white. His hair was white. He was like, he stopped dyeing his hair a long time. He was like, I ain't dyeing nothing no more. And he got out there and he did it. He did it. Like Preston said, God bless Eddie Levert. You try getting out there performing after you lost two sons. You know, you know. He said, I'm going to see Anita next month. No expectations. I just want to see her. Now, it's a different story with Anita. Anita has not been performing that long. Uh, you know, she don't have 78s like the OJs and 45s. She came out in the album era, so she got albums. Okay, she don't and 45s. They got 45s and albums. LPs, 45s. She ain't had no 8 tracks. She might have cassettes, but the OJs had 8 tracks. Okay, so you got to understand. You know, Anita's a baby compared to the OJs. So you probably gonna get a good show out of her little short roly poly self. You probably gonna get a hell of a show. Cherie, what's going on, sweetheart? Are you ready for the 19th? Are you ready? Are you ready? Is that this weekend? Is that this Friday? I think it is. Is it this Friday, Cherie? Because today is the 15th. So yeah, okay. The Taste Entertainment Center reunion. Woohoo! Boom, 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 baby. Right, the OJs go way back. Huh, you better recognize. And I wanted to say it so badly on VON today. I said, you all will pay upwards of $200 to see the Rolling Stones, Aerosmith, Van Halen, and Bon Jovi, who I couldn't think of. I'm like, that's all we have. We got Maze and Frankie Beverly, we got the Isley Brothers, and we got the OJs and the Whispers. That's it. All of our heroes are gone. All of these groups that are coming out now, well, these groups that are using the names of these original groups, it's like, no, no. The Philly Intruders, Harold Melvin's Blue Notes. Um, there's a group out that does all the Dell songs called The Dreams. No original members, none. There are at least 2 left in the Dells. There are 2 original members of the Dells. It's Vern and Mickey. I'm just saying. So if you go to these concerts, you never know who you're going to get. There's another group of Delphonics that are out there. Now the original lead singer of the Delphonics is gone, and that's what's his name? You know his name. Hoogie. He's gone. That's it. Earl Young. Hey, you snuck up on me. Ladies and gentlemen, gonna make me cry, man. And I'm not just saying this because you're on my live. You're one of my favorite drummers of all time. You, all the stuff I'm playing right now, you're on it. You're on it. Um, Earl Young is probably the best timekeeper that I've ever heard. If you play any one of their songs from the beginning to the end, it's always the same beat. You know how drummers they get happy and they speed up at the end? You're what they call a pocket drummer. You keep it in the pocket, you know. All those old disco songs that we used to dance to. Double exposure and uh, first choice. You are one of the greatest of all time, sir, and I salute you. And please allow me to call you Uncle Earl because every time I pick up some sticks, I'm trying to emulate Uncle Earl because you know one of the baddest cats out there. The guy with Tower of Power, um, Billy Cobham. Every jazz drummer I've ever heard. You just you're that drummer. You're in that my top five, and you are man. Thank you, Uncle Earl. Because when I was a kid, you don't call people by their first name. So, sir, you are Mr. Young, Uncle Earl, your Highness. you know, I can't. You know, I'm not even worthy to hold your sticks. So, you are truly an inspiration to us young guys out here playing drums. I remember when I was a kid, my parents couldn't afford a drum set. This is a true story. Yes, we love you. We love you, Mr. Young. My parents could not afford a drum set for me. So we had these bar stools, these really thick old bar stools. They were green. And thank you, sir. You are the man. And I had some real drumsticks, but I lined all of the I lined the bar stools up, and that was my drum set. And I kept time with my foot. That was my foot pedal, and But when I did get behind a drum set, you could have sworn that I, had a drum set at home. And I had a good teacher um, who said, try to play as much as you can. So I got good on drums. I got good on playing bass. But after running down all the instruments that I played, somebody was like, "We need a church drummer. Can you play drums?" I was like, "Yeah." So I didn't know any gospel songs on the organ, so drumming became my forte. So, but once again, I would imitate your strokes by listening to MFSB albums. My favorite album, of course, was Love is the Message. And I remember the first time I heard TSOP, and it's like the end when the groove gets really funky, when it makes when it drops down and goes da 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 da. I'm like, that is, it's like a funky symphony. That's the only way I can explain it. And then the strings come in, da 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 da, and you're doing something, and I'd never heard it before. And I'm like, no, it's two drummers. It's got to be two drummers. I learned to play on phone books and coffee cans. Wow. Wow. You see, I'm wearing my hair like you, man. I'm trying to get some more up here, though. But when I, when I heard that, it's like you're riding the cymbal, and then I hear, I'm like, how's he doing that? Is that two drummers? It's like you went over and grabbed the hi-hat that's, and it's like, it's just, it's almost as if they all stood up in the studio, and they was all just swinging, you know. And Zach comes in at the end, and he blows, and then they bring the girls back in, and then it's just everybody's playing something, you know. Everybody's playing a different part, you know, and the horns are, it's like beautiful. And of course, one of my favorites is Something for Nothing. Something for Nothing, which is Tom Bell's masterpiece. 3 minutes long, the B side of TSOP, and it's just him and the piano. And then the orchestra comes in, and the strings are. I'm like, that song is way too short. That's like a 3-minute symphony, you know. And those French horns come in. Whoo, I tell you, I could go on talking about you, sir. I feel like I know you, you know. I was a big fan of the Tramps. You know, I remember one summer my brother introduced me to the Tramps. I'm like, okay, who are the Tramps? Well, of course, if you look at the album cover, most of them are members of MFSB, or what became the South Soul Orchestra, you know, after they marched out. And I'm like, no wonder. I remember the first time I heard Body Contact Contract. And you come in there on the dotted line. I'm like, whoa, the drummer singing? What the is going on? The drummer singing. Sing with the strings of my heart. I'm like, for real? Oh, the drummer sings? You're kidding me. You know. Did it. I'm like, okay. You all took doo-wop and put a disco beat behind the doo-wop. I'm like, who does that? They're going did, and you're just crooning over it. I hear a melody. I'm like, who does that? Anyway, thank you, Mr. Young. I'm through almost, but I appreciate you being on my live. This, you know, if you allow me one time to interview you, I would love to do an interview on you, an in-depth interview, because you played on every hit record, the OJ's, Billy Paul, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, and one of the funkiest tunes I've ever heard, which doesn't, where the strings are not in it. Slow Motion by Jimmy or Johnny Williams. Down by the Ocean, Jimmy and me. I will. I will. Down by the ocean. But whew, I heard you all singing and, you know, um, and disco party. Disco party, dance, people dance. Let the good times roll. Let the music take your soul. And then you come in there, doom, 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 dance. Everybody dance. Everybody dance. I'm like, oh man, take me now, Lord, take me. I'm like, whoa. Yeah, Johnny, in Slow Motion by that song by Johnny Williams is way too short. It's like you start the song, and and the beat never changes. It doesn't fluctuate. It just and I think it was Leon Huff on the Fender Rhodes. All you can hear that is that Fender Rhodes up in the mix. With the phase shift on it. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, okay, all right, y'all got me. And great song. He never did anything after that, I don't think. You know, just let me know. Hey, sir, it would absolutely be my pleasure to interview you. I would just, man, that's like my bucket list. You and Quincy Jones. You know, I'd have to put out a disclaimer or a parental guidance if I do Quincy Jones, because I know Quincy's gonna bust a lot of folks out, but I don't mind. I don't mind. But you are one of my favorite drummers. You know, the Tramps is one of my favorite groups. Double Exposure, um, First Choice. You know, Love Thing. And the remix, it's like you carry the whole song. I'm like, nobody plays like that. Nobody. You know, that is that's the Earl Young groove. Nobody plays like that. I've never heard anybody else play like that. The closest I heard was on I'm Every Woman by Shaka Khan. Steve Ferroni tried it. He went there. I'm every woman. I'm like, oh, see, you've been listening to Uncle Earl. I hear it. I hear it. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Soul Train Dance Spotlight. Yes. I appreciate you, sir. I really do. I'm not just saying that. I'm a real big fan of yours. I really am. You know, you and Harvey Mason. Oh man, two of the funkiest to ever do it. And Dave Garaldi from Tower of Power. And of course, you can't leave out the Godfathers of the Funk, James Jabbo Sparks, and what's the other guy? Clyde Stubblefield. That's it. That's it right there. The coldest drummers ever. I heard Harvey Mason play on Trying to Find Out About You on the Mellow Madness album by Quincy Jones. And I was like, what is this? Wait a minute. And it said there are no overdubs on this. I'm like, wow, who plays like that? But Mr. Young, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much. I look forward to interviewing you. That's gonna be on my bucket list to interview you and let everybody know all those songs that you played on that they probably don't even know that they were listening to you. You know. But anyway, excuse me for 1 second. I'll be right back. Got to go take care of something. All right, I'm back. Had to go tinkle. You're welcome, sir. Hey, son. Was this a nice haircut? Thank you. Trying to hold on to it, you know, swirl it around a bit. But thank you, son. I love you too, man. Thank you. That's my son, Uncle Earl. That's my son. But there was another song that I'm trying to remember what it was. Work on Me by the OJs. Another one that you lead, you start the song out. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, dun, 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 work on me. And then towards the end, it's like you just get funky with it. It's like, okay, all right. But you never stray from the beat. The beat never changes. The tempo never changes. You know, there are only two drummers in history, you and Al Jackson Jr., the timekeeper. Good Lord. How much you want? Never think about places. Never think about leaving. Never think about easing. Oh, baby. You know, I could go all night playing the OJ songs, and I can play 3 hours of OJ songs. Forever Mine from the album Identify Yourself. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. And on my live tonight, one of the legends. You heard him on just about every song that I played by the OJs except for the first two. Mr. Earl Young uh, from the group The Tramps, session drummer for MFSB and the South Soul Orchestra. He was on my live, and I just got to tell you, sir, I love your playing. I try to imitate you, even in church. I try to play like you in church. There are no church songs that have a disco beat to them, but take that four on the floor and spread it around. But I really look forward to interviewing you real soon. So he said let you know, and I will. Give me a couple of weeks so that I can get my fandom out first, because otherwise I won't be able to ask any questions. I'll just be giving you compliments all night long. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Hello to my son, Sincere Adams. Thank you so much, son. I love you too, man. I really do. You and your brother, man, you all are, yeah. I can't wait for Father's Day. I know I'm going to get something big, ain't I? Speaking of Earl Young, the Tramps, this is Seasons for Girls on Bedtime Stories. Girls, this is the season for girls. The season for girls. On the corner. Oh, you want to hear Help Me Please by the OJs? Oh, my bad. You got it, Phyllis. Girls, this is the season for the girls. The season for girls. Once again, thank you so much. If nobody told you, thank you for your contributions to music, period. You are the godfather of disco, of the disco beat. And I remember, and I'm going to say this right quick. Well, I'm going to take my time. I got 20 minutes left. The song Vogue by Madonna. It's like they took a sample of you. It's like they sampled your drumming. And if you listen to Vogue, it's 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 the Earl Young groove. You can't get away from it. It is the Earl Young groove. You know, it is definitely that. Vogue by Madonna. I don't know if she got permission to do that or if the producer said, we're going to make this song sound like, these people here. Man, yep. I'm like, wait a minute. Is that him playing or is that a drum machine? But it's almost too perfect. It's got that same beat. I'm like, okay, all right. Yep. That and what is that song? Crystal Waters, 100% Pure Love. It's like, okay, all right. It's like somebody's paying attention. somebody's definitely paying attention to your drumming. They're definitely paying attention to it. Yeah. But it doesn't get any better. It's like, oh, okay, they got this from, it's like they took samples of your drumming and put it into a drum machine, and then that's what it sounds like. So, but whew, I tell you, we called them about that song, and they said no. Really? No, I think they definitely, yeah, they definitely sampled your pattern, and they tried to recreate that pattern. But if it, I mean, it isn't you, but it should be, and it sounds like it. So, yeah, but it definitely sounds like you. And of course, "The Love I Lost" by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes with Teddy. It's like the end of that song is like it's just all you. It's you in the rhythm section, you know, and Teddy's just riffing at it. Come on, y'all. Mm-hmm. Well, like, and you just, I'm like, okay, you know, the love I lost is a sweet love. I think that was the first time we heard that hi hat, that sound, and it was just, and by me being a DJ, it made it easier to mix because that hi hat was so far up in the mix, way up in the mix. All you could hear was, and you just basically mix it with anything. It's got that same, beats per minute. Uh, man, but it made it easier to hear in the clubs. You have a speaker by you as a monitor, and people yelling at you and stuff, and all you could hear was that Mainline. Oh my God. Woo! By Black Ivory. You killed it on me. Mm-mm. Woo! Sorry, Troy. Sorry for disturbing you, sir. Mm-mm-mm. Boo, ba-doo, boo, ba-doo, do, 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 do. Can you go? Yep. That song by Black Ivory, if they didn't make another song after that, they didn't have to. Mainline. I'm like, woo! Some big surprises coming from Philly this year. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. That Mainline by Black Ivory. Dun, 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 dun. Nothing is the same ever since you came, my baby. I'm like, whoa. I played that on the radio the other day. I engineer over at this talk station, WBON, here in Chicago. And on Fridays, we have a thing we call House Music Friday. So when it's my turn to get on the board and engineer, I basically pull out all of the first choice stuff, the MFSB stuff, whatever I can get my hands on off of YouTube, and I'm playing everything. And whenever I play Black Ivory's main line, it's like people in the hallway are dancing. They're like, "What station is this?" They're playing. Yeah, okay. So, but yeah, keep me in the loop, sir. Because once again, I am a fan. Absolutely. Nothing is the same ever since you came, my baby. I'm still wearing my wristband from Saturday night's OJ's concert. Um, I think maybe I'll take it off. Maybe, I don't know. My favorite is the Soul Train 2. It's the weirdest thing about, and I heard the story about the song that Mr. Cornelius didn't want you all to call it Soul Train. So they settled for MFSB's TSOP, the Sound of Philadelphia. But everybody knew what it was, and it became the most popular version, even though, each season they would do something different. George Duke did a version of it. They had Heavy D rapping, doing a Soul Train version. But the one that they always remember is TSOP. That's the one they always remember. Soul Train, Soul Train. That's the one that they always remember. Soul Train has gone through so many changes as far as the theme songs. The first one was the Ramrods, called Hot Potato, and they renamed it the Soul Train thing. But when Soul Train finally got a real theme, that was it. That was the one. Phyllis wanted to hear the OJs and help somebody, please help me, please. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. I hope you like that, Phyllis. Thank you so much for the picture that you did, that caricature that you did for me and the missus. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Phyllis, as always. Man, I'm gonna make portraits of those. I'm gonna put them in frames and have them here in the studio. I really appreciate you, Phyllis, and of course, Mr. Earl Young, who's on my Facebook Live tonight. I really appreciate you. Um, Growing up, I listened to everything that you played on, Harold Melvin, the Blue Notes, Teddy Pendergrass's solo music, um, Billy Paul. I mean, the list goes on. Fantastic drummer. In my top five. You are definitely in my top five. Anyway, we were talking about George Benson earlier. Somebody said, as a matter of fact, Preston said, he's not that great a singer. Now, if you go to a George Benson concert expecting him to sing, then you'll be sadly mistaken because he's not that great a singer. He's a good singer, but his guitar playing is way better than his singing. Not to say he's a bad singer. I mean, he did get a Grammy for this Masquerade, but some of his music with him singing are, some of the best music ever. Here's George Benson, and I just want to hang around. This is Bedtime Stories. Yeah, but back to the Soul Train theme. It's the only song that I know that's had several versions. There was a single version that was put out with Something for Nothing on the B-sides. That was that one. The LP version, which was a little bit longer, and then they put out a 12-inch version. And then they came up with Philadelphia Classics, the remix album, with the remix of "I'll Always Love My Mama" and you know, and so on and so forth. And then there's the version of TSOP, which features, of course, the 3 Degrees. And they're actually singing Soul Train, Soul Train. I think that was on International. That was their own album. But Tom Moulton did an excellent job of remixing TSOP. I mean, I've heard several versions of that song where they have remixed it, and each one features your drum, your drumming, and it's like, man, this is great. This is great. Uh, Thank you, sir. Thank you. No, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. You are truly, sir, in my eyes, you are truly a legend, and I look forward to talking with you on my show. I would love to interview you and talk about the history of all the songs that you've done. Of course, the Tramps, MFSB, and South Soul Orchestra. Um, Another one. It's like the more I talk, the more songs come to my mind. You're just the right size. You know, once again, Heavy Vibes by Montana. You know, I could go on and on. It would be like a 3-hour interview with just songs that you played on. So, but okay, we will have a lot to talk about with the interview. And once again, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know um, when I'm going to do it, but I'll give you at least maybe 2 weeks from now. Usually do my interviews on Wednesday, so I will be in touch with you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Like I said, you are, my drum hero. You have guitar hero, I got drum hero. Yep, I got drum hero. And you are truly one of the best. One of the best. Yep. We can, go back to the history of when you're playing behind the Intruders and Brenda and the Tabulations. You know, it was right on the tip of my tongue. And of course, all the Delphonics songs. That, that, boom. Are you gonna break your promise, baby? Woo! I can't wait. Might be another week. I don't know if I can wait 2 weeks to talk to you. But anyway, but once again, thank you. Thank you so much. You know, most appreciated. I can't wait to speak to you, sir. You have made my night. You know, when I was a young fella, that's all I did was read the album covers. You know, and on the back would be a listing of all the musicians, and everyone's Earl Young, Earl Young, Earl Young. You know, Norman Harris. Um, I mean, just on and on. Michael Sugar Bear Foreman, like, um, I mean, the list goes on and on. But you know, the one that always caught my eye was Earl Young. I'm like, who is this Earl Young? And I listened. I'm like, okay, you know, now I understand. Now I understand. But before I go, I want to thank everybody for being on my live as always. I don't want to forget any names. Uh, to Phyllis, Miss Hightower, Lady G. Hold on, I got the list here. Preston Shanks, Victor Jackson. Like I said, Phyllis, Glenn Walker, who's my neighbor, Chiffon Miller, Sharon Hightower, Dorothy Handy Taylor, um, Lawana Trailer. Thank you so much. I wish I could have gotten to you today at the inauguration. And that's how you end the show. Thank you so much for staying up with me. Thank you to Tommy Williams, Chiffon Miller, Glenn Walker, Phyllis Malloy Bender, Victor Jackson, Elaine Kim Cox, and of course, the legendary Mr. Earl Young, aka Uncle Earl, and the Earl Young Drum Groove. Thank you so much. I look forward to talking with you real soon, sir. And everyone else tomorrow night, right here on Bedtime Stories. I'm going to bed now. Good night to you too, Troy. Till next time, blue skies, green lights, and peace. Good night, Miss Delicious. All right, ladies and germs, thank you so much once again. I appreciate you all. I will speak with you soon. Um, Mr. Young, it's a pleasure, and I'll look forward to speaking with you on my show. Good night, Glow. I'm not the follower. I pull out way early on that one. Good night, Troy.